What's up, guys? So today we're gonna do something a little bit out of the norm, but I think you'll like it. Today we are going to make the Disney churro recipe. I'm sure you've seen it all over online. It's kind of a hit right now. So I thought, hey, why not we just try it out? So next week, or possibly this week's double time, I will put up a second video, but today we're gonna try some churros out, and yeah, let's get to it. All right, you guys, so the rundown of this recipe, I will link the recipe down below so you guys can follow along with that for the ingredients, or you guys can follow along with me here on the video. So a rundown of what we are going to need. You will need 3 eggs, a cup of water, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. You're going to need 8 tablespoons of butter, or a stick of butter, and it is unsalted. You're going to need 1 1/4 cup of flour, all-purpose flour, and then if you already have some mix, that's fine, or you can just mix some 1/2 cup of sugar and probably like 2 tablespoons of cinnamon to make cinnamon sugar for after we roll it, and we're going to dip it in that. So some other things you will need a semi to large pot, not ginormous, but you know, semi to large, and then a small pot for the frying afterward. Put 1.5 cups of vegetable oil, or you can use canola oil as well. All right, you guys, so the first thing you're going to do is take this pot and you're actually going to put it on a medium to high heat. So what you're going to do next is you're going to take almost all your ingredients. You're going to take your cup of water and go ahead and put that in. You're going to take your cinnamon and salt and go ahead and put that in. And then you're gonna go ahead and take your butter, which I have to warm temperature right now. If you can't, just put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds. So we're gonna plop that in. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get this to a boiling boil. Obviously you're gonna have to mix it around, wait for it to heat up a little bit, wait for the butter to melt, and you're gonna get it to a boil, okay? All right, so once you guys feel like you have it to a roiling boil, which you can kind of see it's very fuzzy, right? So this is a roiling boil. So you're going to take your 1 1/4 cups of flour and you're going to dump it in, all right? That is hot, be careful. So basically you're going to want to stir it till it reaches like a doughy point, and you're basically going to make a dough ball. So we're gonna stir this till it gets to that point. We're gonna turn this down to a low heat. It has an interesting smell. And you guys, this literally took me like 2 seconds to put this into a dough. It really did. This took like 2 seconds. That was fast. So let me show you guys what this looks like. We're gonna take this off the heat, okay? Heat off. All right, so you can see this is what it looks like right now. It's kind of formed like in a little ball. It like turns into dough within seconds as soon as you guys put that flour in. So make sure you don't forget to turn that down to a low heat, and it'll literally form in like a couple seconds. All right, so we're gonna put this in a little ball. All right, you guys, so I have completely taken this dough ball off of the stove, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna let it rest for 7 minutes in this pot, and then after 7 minutes, we're gonna come back and mix in our eggs. All right, you guys, it's been about 7 minutes. So what we're going to do next is you're gonna take your 3 eggs and you're gonna crack the eggs in 1 at a time, and you're gonna stir them until they're thoroughly mixed. And again, 1 at a time, thoroughly mixed. This is really crucial to do that, all right? So this is still gonna remain off of the high heat. You're gonna crack these in 1 at a time, make sure you don't get any eggs in there. You're gonna mix this in. Making sure it's really well incorporated before you do the next one. Here's a little look of what it looks like. We're gonna go ahead and do the second one. All right, and that's the second one. We got 1 more. I pretty much am waiting till it gets back to that doughy consistency, and I know we are wanting it to get a little bit runny. It's not going to be super runny by the time we're done, but I'm basically getting it back to the doughy consistency before I'm adding the next egg. So this is going to be what it looks like when you're all done. It's still that dough ball. It's a little bit runnier, but it's still the dough ball. All right, guys, so this is what it's gonna look like when you're done the eggs. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to put this in a little smaller of a bowl and just wait a little bit for it to cool off. There you go, that's what it looks like. All right, so what I have set up going on over here, once I took that dough ball off of the high heat over here, I actually set a timer for 7 minutes and I actually put my canola oil on already because you're gonna want this to reach 350 degrees Fahrenheit before you start plopping it in there. And it's actually been sitting for a while, so it's pretty good and probably ready to go. But I have my pan that I'm actually going to end up with them on, and I just have a paper towel covering. So what you're going to be doing is putting the churros in here, putting them on a paper towel, and then I'm putting the cinnamon sugar over here. I'm just waiting for this to cool. So it's just going to be like a 3-part step. All right, you guys, so I want to show you a quick, easy technique to using these piping bags and the tip. So you actually can use like a larger star tip to put this dough mixture in. And when you have a piping bag, the easiest way to put things in the piping bag is to actually roll it down like this. And you're actually just gonna like cup the inside with your hand like that. You're basically gonna roll it over your hand, all right? And this just makes it a lot less messy. And then you can just, I mean, since it's basically just a dough mixture, it's pretty easy to just put in one thing. So once your mixture is all in like that, you basically just put it over. Look how easy that is, so easy. So you're just gonna push it down. So you're gonna need a scissors on hand because you're gonna be pushing this in and then you're gonna be snipping it to make it a little shorter. So let's get started. All right, you guys, so just to test this out, we are gonna just dump some in here just to make sure. I did, again, temp it, but I just wanna make sure that it is at the proper heat. So we're just gonna squeeze some in here. I'm gonna have my scissors here on the side. I'm just gonna do a little bit. And I wanna see if it boils. It is sizzling, can you see it? You can't see it. All right, I think this is pretty good. So we are actually gonna start putting it in. So basically when we put it in, we're just gonna do a little bit and then we're gonna cut it off. I'm gonna put like 3 in at a time, I think. I don't wanna make it like too full in there. All right. So if you can see, it's sizzling and we're basically gonna let it sizzle and we're gonna kind of spin it over till it gets about golden brown. And then we're gonna take it out, put it on our paper over here, and then when it's all done, we're gonna put it in the cinnamon sugar. I just wanna make sure they don't like conform together. Now, if you guys don't have a piping tip like this, I guess I would probably suggest if you have like even like a plastic bag, just like the sealable bags, even if you use that and you just like kind of put it into the corner and you cut off the corner and it'll just be a circle, it's still just as good, you know what I mean? The texture doesn't really change if it's a churro or not. So I would suggest that you do not have a tip. All right, you guys, so I just finished all the churros. I just re-put them back in this tin can just so it looks pretty, but these actually make a ton. Like you can see I have some long ones and some short ones, but it actually made a lot of churros, like a lot of churros. So for this recipe, I would say it's actually pretty easy. I would say it's not kid friendly just because there's a lot of heat and hot stuff, but certainly really good for your kids to eat afterwards. And or your husbands and family members would be super duper happy if you made these for them. So I don't know if you guys have tried these, but all right, I'm just gonna. Oh my God. Wow. You know, it's not like overly sweet. It's like, I don't know, it's like a not super sweet pastry, but then with like the cinnamon sugar on top, it just adds just enough sweetness, so it's like really good. But it is like the perfect, not super sweet, but really good, guys. I definitely say a must-try recipe at home. Pretty easy to make and not too many like crazy ingredients. So let me know if you guys try this and comment down below on your pictures. I want to see you make it. I can't stop eating these. They're so good. All right, if you guys like what you see, make sure you comment down below, leave a picture, and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Become a member of the Kitty Cakes & Co. Baking Fam, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.